Today, really pleased to talk about what's going on in the pharma industry, big industry for us, and what are the latest things we're seeing, what are the trends. And I have the pleasure to co-host this webinar with my friend Jason Miller. So maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thanks. My name's Jason Miller. I'm head of the pre-sales for the Americas for Creatio. So it's nice to meet everyone and see everyone virtually. We've got a great conversation to have today about transformation in the BPM and no-code space and how it's really impacting how we're doing business in the medical and pharmaceutical business. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you, Jason. And I'm Sebastien Forget. I'm the founder of a company called Metrix, who operates in the pharma industry. So I'll just go brief on who is Metrix. So we're really a business consulting firm in customer relationship management and customer experience. We're specialized in multiple industries, including pharma. So we have above 100 customers in pharma. So we're seeing all kinds of trends and things and common problems that the pharma has. So we felt that today was a good day to speak about those and what are the best practices and the approaches in order to alleviate those problems. So really, our mission is doing a strategy for you and implement the technology as well. So we're technologists, so we're a consulting firm in technology, making sure that you get the best in all types of technology, specializing in customer relationship management, customer experience. So everything from sales, customer experience, marketing. So we're going to talk about those today. Again, we're about building a roadmap. We're sales and business minded. So we're really about going to market and how we can craft those relationships to ensure, ROI for the business, but also win-win situation with our customer. We're also technologists, integration savvy, and we're also an agile firm. So we're enable changes within the organization. So agile, not only on the technology, but everything regarding the organizational change management. So how can you really implement and adopt and embrace the change within your business? So a little about Creatio. So Jason, maybe you can present the solution.
Yeah, absolutely, Seb. And for those of you who have not heard of Creatio before, we are a Gartner leader in the CRM space, and we offer solutions that start on a no-code foundation. We started off as a BPM tool and have built, highly rated Gartner leading CRM solutions on top. We really have three core fundamental principles that we focus on every day here at Creatio. The first one is one platform to help automate any business process anywhere. The freedom to help enable your users across the enterprise to automate business processes in minutes, not in hours or days. And then it's at our core culture, genuine care. We treat every customer, regardless of size, with the same vigor and the same passion as we do any other customer. So that's really the fundamentals of who we are. Now let's talk a little bit about the solution. And when I talk about one platform, it really is that ability to automate any business process across the enterprise. And we do that by providing a variety of services. Again, I mentioned we're built on a low-code, no-code platform that can be used across the enterprise and across front office, mid office, back office. And when we talk about our CRM solution a little bit, if we look at our sales, service, and marketing, and Seb, next slide if we can, the sales, service, and marketing piece is the core of any CRM solution. You'll see this no-code, low-code play out in this space as well. You see on the screen here, this is an example of a marketing campaign, but our business process engine looks and feels very similar. The ability to drag and drop the changes as you need, the ability to visualize data like you see here with our dynamic case management, the ability to build quick infographics to bring data to life and make it actionable. And then on the next one, Seb, when we talk about enabling customer service, understanding your customer, having that complete 360-degree view of how you're interacting with this customer across these three channels, it's very important. and also allows you quick access to be able to resolve quick access to information to be able to resolve any open customer issues. So if we talk about that, and then we add on top of this industry workflow idea, we have templates and connectors we're going to talk about in a minute from Marketplace, but we have these for industries as well. Being able to build out things like test group management would be a great example here. You could also do this for trials. You want to capture blind data. The ability to do this through a customer portal is an amazing ability to do that. And we can build those things out for any industry. And for the pharma, I've just given you a couple examples. Then we talk about our templates and connectors. Our templates and connectors, we offer a fully baked out marketplace that has industry solutions, connectors to day-to-day apps that we use every day, all the way through various marketing and other communication channels, SMS, chatbot, etc. So what does that mean? If we can go to the next slide, Seb. That means that we can apply this to a variety of needs within the pharmaceutical business. So Seb, if you want to talk a little bit about some of these spots, and I know we're going to go through each one of these in depth, but I think these are kind of some of the big bullet points we want to hit today. Seb, you're on mute, my friend. Maybe we lost Sebastian's audio. That's always a challenge when you're trying to do a live webinar. All right, well, in the meantime, as Seb works to get that back, we'll just talk about this a little bit. So Seb, if you want to maybe move on over to the next slide here.
Yes, perfect. Sorry about that. I was muted by the system, so sometimes it's AI. So maybe just what we're going to be about today. So first, there's new way to engage with physicians. So we're going to talk about that. Then the different on-demand interaction. You know, we talk about the digital transformation. So we're going to tackle a little of that in that topic. We also have different persona challenges in the pharma. So the way we spoke with different people and the way we interact also transform. We're going to speak about marketing strategies. So the pharma industry is catching on that, as well as the marketing automation. And we're going to conclude with what's a no-code solution, what's the benefit for pharma company. So sorry about being muted, Jason. So perfect.
No problem. So let's kick off this first topic, and we're going to talk about how we're interacting with physicians. And I think the pandemic was a great example of how we're changing or why we're changing our interactions with our healthcare providers. And if you think about it, in 2021, about 70% of healthcare providers are now digital native. They're not expecting to see patients directly in front of them. We're interacting via telemedicine. We're interacting via phone call, maybe Skype, maybe a variety of other tools. There's a lot of native tools within the medical field that are helping enable this. But it's amazing to see the growth. In 2020, again, during the height of the pandemic, telemedicine grew at almost 92%. It's an amazing transformation. But Seb, given that change in how doctors are interacting with their patients, how does this play here? How does understanding the customer play, especially if we get into customer relation management?
And Jason, I think you were absolutely on the nail, and that's what the stat says and the trends are. Is the way first the pandemic was an acceleration in a lot of digitalization, and the way, and I think it uncover and fast forward us in like 5-10 years in the way we communicate, especially in the pharma industry, with our healthcare professional. And if we talk with the physician more specifically, if we're looking at also what's happening on the telemedicine, what's happening, the new generation is more digital savvy. So what happened is it changed the behavior in the way they want to interact with us as people want to engage with them, the way they interact with sales rep as well. So in the pharma industry, we want to always visit our HCP and our physician. So it changed, it transformed. So I was looking at another stat. So before the pandemic, it was a split of so depend by country, by region, but let's say about 30% were digital interaction, so Zooms, another way to engage, and 70% was face-to-face. Now it's revert. So it's 70% digital engagement, 30% face to face. And as well, the digital conversation, so the last bullet has changed as well, is the way they engage, as well as the expectation has changed. So before it was a good old meeting between two, and again, we don't want to put away the human relationship here, but there's expectation. So like in any industry, I think we became more and more cognizant of the time we're investing with people. So we really want to get maximum out of it. So the expectation has changed. So, and you will see in today's presentation, they want to be more, bring me the value, bring value for me, bring value for my patient. So, which I think the digital world allows to do better. We're seeing things like portal, for example, for healthcare professionals. So the pharma, they do have a portal where physician and other healthcare professional can go log in, even interact digitally, have some information they need. Even we're going to talk today about some clinical studies that are being doing together between the pharma, sometimes the physician in the hospital or they're working with, or the different healthcare organization, but definitely has something in transformation regarding the way we interact. And as the pandemic brought that as well, and we're working with a lot of our customer in a remote way, and it's way more acceptable than it was before. So it is for telemedicine, to engage with your doctor as a patient. So it is for pharma people to engage with the healthcare professional as well. So that the pandemic brought this transformation. So and that's what we're seeing, and also a mind, the switch of mindset of, and some we're seeing some, for example, in the pharma, some sales rep do have some challenges to adapt to that. But the good news, the technology is there, and it's almost there for sure. It needs some transformation, but and once you've done it, the change is very well absorbed by the
Seb, I think you brought up an interesting point that I think I want to emphasize is just because the way we're interacting with doctors has changed, consumers and patients still want to have that relationship, right? So it's important. It's very easy for a doctor to sit behind a screen and lose that patient-doctor relationship, right? But they need to make sure that they understand who they are, right? Whether that's through ease of communication, having good notes, having an understanding of everything that's going on with that doctor. I mean, I went to a doctor's visit recently and had recently got on some new meds, and it was, doctor was tracking me when I wasn't even aware of how. Wearable technology, right? So the ability to get that type of information consumed and available to the doctor as well, I think that's an important thing that can be, aided and gone even further for driving that relationship closer because the doctor has more information available. So, all right, so let's talk about, go ahead, Seb.
No, I think you're right on the way. So especially the new generation of physician, they're more native with technology. So what it means for pharma is it also reciprocate in this industry and the way they engage with the pharma people as well. So we just need to leverage those tools. That's as a conclusion for last line.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of leads into the next conversation, because this is true for doctors, it's true for pharma, it's true for pharma sales reps. The on-demand interactions, it's becoming not just that's a nice to have, it's becoming the norm, it's becoming the expected, right? So McKinsey recently did a study that said, hey, pharma lags all the major industries except for public sector and digital maturity. Now, we all know government works slow, but what they were saying is that pharma is not far behind, right? And there is a significant variance within the industry as more advanced companies have taken the lead in digital, in search of greater leverage. So what they're saying is that the leaders are here, and the people who have not adopted technology are not even here. They're like off the chart low. So there's this huge gap within the industry, and part of their summary of that whole thing was, there needs to be a closure of that gap. And they talked a little bit about how that gap can be closed. And Seb, as we kind of dig into this topic a little bit, right, understanding how to close that gap, understanding the things that are needed for those pharmaceutical companies to close that gap. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So a couple of things. So for first, you need to, and couple things. So I think the lag in the pharma industry that McKinsey is bringing forward is, I think that for sure there's lots of regulation in the pharma industry as well. And there's some technology inhibitors that prevents to tackle big project. And so today we're going to talk about the low code and the new approaches to technology to close that gap. But more precisely, so we said that there's new working style due to digitalization and the digital transformation that the company are going through. Where painful, what we're seeing with the latest technology and the approaches like no code or low code is they are able to close faster that gap, because in technology, the good thing about waiting is when you on board, the technology has advanced a lot. So that's the fast forward track that the pharma is getting to right now. So they're leveraging the new way of working in digitalization. Also, we spoke about it, but the on-demand interaction are replacing the scheduled meeting where I'm going to see this doctor every 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. So those has been replacing, and not only through Zoom meeting or Teams or whatever, it's been replaced by a customer journey. So the patient, as the doctor asks for the patient, the pharma are doing the HCP and the healthcare professional journey. So, and we're going to talk a little later about the different personas we're interacting with, but they want their journey with the pharma to be successful. So that's, and as they try to close the gap, leveraging those tools help them a lot. And as well, doctors are more than, I wouldn't say more than ever, but they've always been close to their patient, and their time is being, they've been really solicited in the past 2 years. So they're the mindset of being really efficient. So they don't want to, quote unquote, not lose, but invest too much time with the pharma reps and the pharma people. So they really want their interaction to be maximized. So as they're focusing more on the patient. So the pharma now with technology, they're not only capturing, for example, the prescription that this physician is doing for my pills and my competitors, but they're also working with the physician to track their customer success, their patient success and their patient results, and doing some clinical studies. And so they're really working as a value added, not necessarily as here's the different molecules that I can procure you. So it changed from a supplier type of relationship to really a partnership.
Now, I think Seb, you hit on a couple of interesting points there, and it's going to lead us into this next topic, which is I think you can go to the next one. How does the relationship between the healthcare providers and big pharma changing? Well, you mentioned it, right? They don't necessarily want to spend their time traveling to events. They don't necessarily want to spend their time, interacting with the reps, right? They want to focus on that patient care. So what impact has that had? Well, 96% of healthcare providers have said that they benefit from doing more virtual events, right? They don't want to lose that time in travel. They don't want to lose that time where they can't be with their patients, whereas they can sit down at their computer from anywhere and be able to attend these shows virtually. And what does that mean? It means that they want to see more virtual events. They still want the physical events as well, but ultimately they look at it as a cost benefit, right? If the cost of attending an in-person event is 3.5 times the cost of a virtual event, I think that big pharma is starting to understand that, not only because of the way the pandemic has changed the world, but just the way that doctors and healthcare providers are operating has changed as well. So given that, Seb, what is your take on how this relationship between healthcare providers, pharma is changing, and how can the use of technology help enable that change?
Absolutely. So many things. So that's the good news. So I think at this point of the webinar, we carried over the message that all the healthcare professional, the clinician, they want to interact digitally more and more. So there's benefit both for the patient, the healthcare professional, the pharma, the rep. So it's a win-win-win-win-win situation. And we're going to talk a little later about the technology we can use in order to achieve so that it's not a big 2-year project, and we're actually evolving that. But all to say that technology also bring new ways and new approaches that were not possible before. So first, you need really a 360-degree profile of your healthcare professional. So for years, pharma, they've been gathered information from different sources. So and we're doing it all the time. We said it earlier. So you sell or you distribute to McKesson and AmerisourceBergen and Cardinal Health, and you track at the pharmacy level, you track at the hospital level, at the healthcare professional level. There's multiple ways of gathering the information. Some also purchase the Nielsen data to cross, the market, and so there's lots of data that needs to be brought in. But once you have it, now you can add a layer of the digital engagement with your healthcare professional. So what's been traditionally done from bringing the information, the prescription information, and the market data, and the distribution at that very localized level, and the FSM management level, and FSA, and bringing that with your digital engagement, this is where you can cross information and make really good insight for the pharma to who they can provide help with. So, and this is where the technology will help you. And this is where, as well, on the sales side, you can link some performance data and correlate lots of things. In the platforms today, platforms like Creatio, for example, can do that for you. So it's not, an Excel spreadsheet go back and forth. The technology is there to support the healthcare professional digital engagement, for sure, physical engagement as well, when I'm doing a visit, like we're used to do for the past 15 years. But now we have both the digital engagement, both let's say the traditional profile of the HCP. So in order to provide really highly personalized healthcare professional experience. So when we say about journey, when we say about providing value, this is where, and building the 360-degree profile of your healthcare professional and your customer, this is where it's really, really interesting. This is where everything paid off. We're also in a world where there's a lack of workers, right? So it is in the pharma. So you need your people to be more efficient, especially when they engage with customers, an healthcare professional, for example. So this is where the technology really fills the gap, because you can prioritize, identify, craft some trends, identify the best journey where, and be proactive in where your customer can need some help. So, and we alleviate as well the typical things we're seeing where I need to plan my visit in advance and stuff. So we need to change the mindset here. Is yes, we do need to visit our physicians and engaging with, but it goes behind just the visit. It goes really, how can I provide you value? How can, from your digital profile, seeing where I can support you based on the data I already have in my platform. So, and as well, if a couple things that technology provide, and as we're going through this digitalization, data entry, we don't do data entry anymore, we dictate. So it also help being more efficient. And when we talk about the CME, the continuous medical education as well, the output of that is really consumable by the pharma companies. So not only all the tools to invite people, see who registered, how many they assist, tracking budget and all of that, but also what's been the direct effect. And you normally, and that's what we've seen, is from those CMEs, they can see the difference in the digital behavior. So really good, and it makes a difference. So and I think the last bullet is what I spoke about. So we're reconciling a lot of POS data, distributor data. So you have the data that pharma always been good at gathering data. We're taking this data, we're putting into or transforming it into information. We're correlation with the digital profile, some initiative like CMEs, and you really have a personalized experience in order to make people really efficient.
Now, Seb, I want to talk about a couple of these bullet points specifically, really quick.
Yes.
So, you talked about a customer 360 view, right? So, a customer 360 view. A lot of people may not know what that is. So, can you just, in layman's terms, what do you mean by customer 360 view?
It's knowing everything that happened with your customer. So it could be from what they've done online with you. So for example, they went to your website, they went into the portal, and in your portal, they've seen 5 times this page on this molecule in the past month. All right. So that would be an example of a digital engagement. The emails is sometimes tricky, but with physician, but it's opening more and more. So also what emails they've been seeing, what all the digital interaction from website visit, email, even some chat sometime if you do have the platform on the portal. Now it's also what's happening on the field, right? All the visits and stuff. And it's also what's happening on the data side. So everything that you reconcile from the data that you're gathering, you're getting it into your platform and your Creatio. So you do have everything that's going on with this person. And this by automation, so we'll see a little later, will create a personalized journey. Because if I know this doctor is not prescribing that much, but he went on and there's not that much digital engagement, so what's going to happen? I will need a specific journey for those guys. If it's the adoption level is really high, now I will have a different, for the molecules we're doing, it's going to be a different journey. So that's building the 360-degree profile, meaning I know everything about my customers. And then when you have a good platform like Creatio, okay, what this mean? What should be my next step? What should be the journey I'm going through in order to deliver extraordinary customer experience?
And I think that the really important thing that I want to highlight here is this can be used in a B2B sense, right? From pharma to clinics to doctors to hospitals. It can also be used from the B2C standpoint or B2B2C standpoint, so that if you've got information sharing about not necessarily individuals but demographic data, right? Pharma can use that demographic data then target market, right? So if we know that we're prescribed or that our network of doctors is prescribing this type of drug into this demographic, into this market, right? We can go target market that. And we can do that through a lot of different channels. And that leads great into this next topic, which is marketing strategy. And from a marketing standpoint, again, B2B or B2C, it still holds the same weight, right? Having an understanding of who you're going after, building your segmentation, and then understanding what message you want to give to them is how you drive ROI in marketing campaigns, right? So in 2020, global telemedicine went through the roof. We talked about that a little bit earlier, right? But what does that mean for marketing? What it means is, how do we get people to change that channel? How do we move them from being in person to coming through telemedicine, right? What incentivizes them to make that shift, right? We also talked earlier that, with all of these doctors now becoming, native in the digital space, how can they leverage that capability, right? And most healthcare providers said that, pharma support services are helpful, right? Even more now than they were before COVID-19. Well, I think that's a no-brainer. But it makes you stop and pause for a minute and say, well, why weren't we that way before? Right? So great, necessity got us there, but it was a no-brainer that we're there now. But why weren't we there before? And I think if you think about that, a lot of it was because people didn't think about how to direct market to clinics, to doctors, to facilities. People didn't think about how pharma can go directly to the end consumer, to B2B2C, right? So Seb, talk to me a little bit about how marketing, whether it's campaign management, segmentation, or just overall marketing efforts? How does that play in this arena?
Absolutely, and it's funny the way you said it, Jason, is why we were not there before, and that's what McKinsey said earlier. They're laggers a little, but the like we said earlier, the good news of being a lagger is when you get in, right? The technology is more advanced, so you actually can catch up faster. So, and on the marketing side, that's true as well. So the technology right now, there's tons of way of finding new ways to engage with doctor and patient. So we talked about the omnichannel experience. So again, what this means is you can communicate with your customer in multiple ways, from mobile to chat, different social media, online, phone, physically, it's on-site meetings. So there's multiple ways. And again, all of that built what we refer earlier to the 360-degree profile. So as you're engaging with them, it crafts what should be the journey, what should be the next step, and what should be the marketing plan. And so we talk a lot in marketing about the micro personalization. So marketing used to be, okay, I'm doing a campaign, boom, I'm blasting, I'm taking a TV ads to blast the whole United States. Yes, that's a marketing campaign. When we're going into those types of one-on-one engagement, what we want is really to craft a unique experience. So this is where we can, and the technology allows to think about it and really articulate the different marketing initiatives into a really proximate relationship that you're developing with your customer and your healthcare professional. So things like providing customer HCP, portal and really a personalized experience. And when we say a portal, we might think that it's a generic web page that people will log to in order to get information. It's not what portal is in 2022. Portal is once we get your username and password or any other authentication method, the response is different per individual. Depending who you are, what you need, what we're seeing, what will be the next step. So there's a lot of dynamic content that appears for you. So it's not just only a generic thing that I'm going to log into. It's really providing, through a marketing strategy, a really unique experience, really unique. And the results are tremendous. It's great. And the engagement becomes and transform the supplier customer relationship into a partnership. So that's what we're looking for. And so, and the market segmentation, instead of being more generic, really will go into crossing multiple factors and multiple dimensions. So the audience, the product type, the region, the persona, etc. So we really want to deliver this unique experience. So the marketing strategy is, yes, there will be large nationwide campaigns that you will do, but you're working as well on a one-of type of experience, a unique experience that you want to deliver and engage and get more attention and get more results at a scale that is really large as well. And when we're planning strategic growth in some regional data and regional initiative, that's also what we're doing. You say, okay, we're gonna make sure that those initiatives per region, and you see it, the result with the sales data, but it's really delivered in a unique way. And as well, more and more, I think the pharma always publish lots of studies and have done lots of education and great content, but also now it transforms into the patient level without breaching any HIPAA compliance and stuff like this, but it gives really personalized data from some patient to the doctor. So it's not only a generic study, it becomes what could be the good example for him. So as a doctor, I could go in and say, okay, I have this, and so the knowledge base of the technology will, consult with me on what are the best approach for this specific case. It's a personalized. So it's not only here's my product, it's here's the engagement approach you can have with us, and really segmented and uniquely. So, and as well for, we talked about earlier continuous medical education, CME. So same thing, we do have micro CME that gather people from different location, but on a very specific topic, and we create engagement in between different healthcare professionals as well. So it just enrich the experience as well. So those are different types of marketing strategy that we're seeing and developing. Again, good news is tons of data. We just need to transform to information, have and craft some journeys we want to develop that really unique healthcare professional or customer experience.
And before we move on to automation, Seb, I think there was a couple of key points that I wanted to make sure that everybody understood. One is personalized, right? The ability to personalize that journey with the customer. And again, whether it's B2B or B2C, it doesn't matter. The answer's still the same. You know, you could be talking with Dr. Jones, who's prescribing, or you could be talking to Mrs. Smith, who is a consumer of the product. In either scenario, you want to be able to customize that message, target that message, and then ultimately get interaction or action from the delivery of that message. And there's multiple ways to do that. And Seb, let's talk a little bit about automation here, right? So from a marketing automation standpoint, there are a variety of ways to do it. And Seb mentioned, I think, what is 2 or 3 key points. One, and the most important thing, is having data visibility, understanding who your target audience is. The second one is having a solution or a system that can help you easily recognize this and then provide you with a step to take action. So if you look at some of these statistics here, and I'm not going to read them all, but it's really to those major points. It's who am I talking to? How do I want to craft the message? How do I want to deliver the message? And we'll talk about omnichannel here in a second. And then how is that leading to increased leads, higher ROI? Never mind, we haven't even gotten into the conversation of ROI visibility or recognition through marketing campaigns. That's a whole nother topic on its own. But how can we use a system to be able to do this? And it could be through email, it could be through, especially with the younger generation, starting to get into SMS text, chatbots. If you're in an international world, maybe WhatsApp, or other direct messaging services like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of these things are ways that people are interacting with businesses, and consumers are interacting now. So when we talk about marketing automation, Sebastien, talk to me just a little bit, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it's a whole topic on its own, but how can marketing automation help pharma companies, whether it's B2B or B2C, doesn't matter. How can marketing automation help drive revenue and help drive ROI?
Absolutely. So maybe just marketing, everyone knows what marketing is. And in pharma also, there's a big track of marketing being educational. Now, what's the automation part of marketing? Is everything that you would like to do, but you don't have time to do, you automate, right? So everything you would like to have in a marketing campaign that will take you too much time to do, because I need to follow up, I need to, if they are interested in that, then we should send this content, and all of those automation that you would like to do, this is where the platform will do it for you. So we talked about persona, we talked about journey, we talked about personalized experience. So marketing automation is one of the engine that will help you automate part of this journey. Part is human interaction, part is marketing automation. It's personalized, automated content / educational / marketing automation. So for example, getting out of a CME, there's follow-ups that needs to be done. And there's, based on the digital interaction and the physical interaction and the data we're gathering, there are some things that, or communication or the educational content that needs to be shared based on this profile. So this is where the automation part will come. So see the marketing automation as, if you have a huge marketing department working for you just on making sure that people got the information. So this is where we can automate a lot. So when we're talking about CME webinars like one we're doing today, educational sessions as well, lots of content that you're doing, you can automate the way you're delivering it. And instead, so let's take, everyone knows what's a weekly newsletter, a monthly newsletter. So that's, you're publishing lots of content, right? The automation is the difference between, talking to a magnephone and a magnet. So as we're gonna have tons of content, we're gonna try to attract people, and when they engage with the specific content that we're producing, they're gonna be in a track where they're gonna go and receive more information about it and other information that could be good depending on lots of like I said, the journey, the profile, and lots of dimensions. But that's the automation part, and this is where the platform can support. So when we talk about nurture campaign, that's what we mean, is ensuring that they get the messaging, the benefits, the education that the healthcare professional needs from the pharma. And as well, there's lots of when we talk about emails, things like A/B testing and things we were used to do in traditional marketing stays in the marketing automation. So there's just a way to personalize the experience through a nurture tracks that we can enable in two platforms. So and there's all sorts of techniques that we're not going to speak today about, crafting those automation and those journey, but ensuring that you don't want to bombard people either. And just absolutely not what I'm saying. Is just instead of the content that I want to receive as an individual needs to be personalized. And if I don't have automation in order to do so, you won't have all the different scenarios and the content to be relevant for that person. You're not going to be, without automation, delivering one-on-one email-ish type of. So that's where the automation comes into the marketing.
So Seb, I think you brought up a lot of points, but now you just talked a lot about, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. You've talked a lot about automation, and you've talked a lot about needing personalization. To me, that screams, from a technology standpoint, I need a flexible system that can change rapidly, keep up with changing demand. Gosh, if you've been in and around technology forever, that sounds like a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a heck of a lot of money. So I think that some people would look at that and say, yeah, that's great. We've known about this for years, but what makes it different now? Well, we've given you some reasons. Now let's talk about the how. Now let's talk about the how, because all of those things are absolutely accurate. Previously, it would have been very expensive. You would have needed an army of developers, and you'd have been talking 7, 8, 9 digits to accomplish a lot of these things. You would have needed years to accomplish a lot of these things. So start with an introduction of no code. What is no code?
So first, what no code mean is the term to say, I don't need a developer to personalize and manage my marketing automation and my experience in my technology stack. I'm not actually gonna have an IT person required in order to do what I want to do. The platform would provide me with tools that speak English, that doesn't speak code, doesn't have to compile, doesn't have complex, inline code that I need to key in manually. It will provide me visual tools when I say, okay, I want to do this and then this and then this. Plus, I'm gonna have a button that say, okay, is it right or wrong? It's wrong. Here you have a mistake. Oh, okay. And then because we're not developers, right? So this is what no code means. It's a platform that allows non-IT people to go in and configure it in a way they want it to be, internally and externally as well. So when I want to create a personalized campaign, and not only create, because honestly, with technology, the thing that easy for a company like Solution Metrix is to do it the first time. The complex thing is to maintain it. And this is where the low code is really, really beneficial, is because you don't need to actually go in and have a developer that maintains it. So And no code is not going anywhere, by the way. It's not a new trend. It's the way that the technology is going. So in by 2030, it's going to be 187 billion in revenues. That's huge. And by 2024, 65% of the application will be low code for sure. That's the way to go. First, we said it earlier. There's a lack of workers, so there's 10 million jobs in IT that are open in the United States that are not filled. 10 million. So IT departments struggle to just maintain, and as we all know, the security and data governance and all of that is not going easier. So this take more and more resources. So when the marketing people or the customer experience people say, hey, I would like to deliver extraordinary customer experience, they're always priority number 2. Unfortunately, for sure, you can understand that security and other stakeholder in technology are prioritized. So the reaction or what the industry is doing is they are providing those type of no code solution and no code tools. So ready to use, and Creatio is a great platform for no code, and that's what it's built on. And things like we talked about the nurturing, we talked about the campaign, we talked about crafting customer journey, and clinical studies directly in your CRM, and every pharma manage it a little different ways, and even the clinical studies are different from one to another, and they have different stages, and all sorts of things that need to be personalized, that needs to be reflective of how we do things, and you don't have IT to support you, so you need that type of platform. And my real definition of no code is no code. What it does for sure, it allows people to personalize and to improve things without the IT department. But what this creates is innovation, because most of our customers and the business people we're speaking with, they're ahead of their current system. They know they all are in some way visionary of what the perfect or extraordinary customer experience could be. They just don't have the means to get there. And they also go through a cycle of innovation, because we all know in business, the first time we do something, it's not always perfect. Sometimes it will, sometimes it will not. So you need a cycle of innovation. And if you go through an IT project, the way they used to be managed is, okay, we get this big requirements document, and then boom, we go to the development, and then once it's developed, we implement it, and thank you, talk to you in 2 years. So this mindset has changed. We're going to a shorter cycle of development with the no code. So and we're seeing it. So what used to take us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, on big platform, won't mention them, but the big public companies platform that we're certified on, now takes weeks in local platform. So what this allows is innovation, because we're going through a cycle. So the phase 1, 2, and 3 will be normally what the phase 1 will be, but you will be more experienced, so you can innovate. So that's to me the enabler of the no-code solution. So, and the benefits for pharma is gonna have by 2025 from 2019, lots of the cars will be 15.9. So it's growing by $3 billion, to reach 8 billion. So it's a big market that's not going anywhere. So, and it keeps only keep growing, and you need to be reactive, you need to innovate, you need to embrace what the technology can enable. It has its challenge, that's for sure. So that's a big part of what we're doing with our customers. It's not only the technology, so how do I embrace the technology? How my IT department will react when we say, we don't need you anymore. And, so they will say, hey, don't screw up the system. So all of that. So there's ways to doing it. There's best practices. There's lots of initiatives that we're consulting on and implementing and working with our customer partners. But that's the type of approach we need to have, because the market is growing. So and the people that are more innovative will succeed more than the others. And so and all to say, and this is to kind of conclude this webinar, because we would like to have a few minutes for question, is first, you improve your business relationship, you streamline your operational process, you boost your profitability, you increase productivity, and that allows you to connect with more customers, because that innovation that will come and emanates from those approaches will create value for your customer. So, and I'm joking by saying at Solution Metrix, our customer are not the king, it's our customers that are king. Second is will create value for the business, because it will be more streamlined, and so the people, the employees will really like the fact that it's more agile, they can innovate, they can go faster, they're not always blocked and frustrated because it doesn't move forward. And the third thing is, ultimately, you're creating value for the shareholders of the business as well. So it creates value for everyone, your customer, your employee, and the business, the shareholder. So and that's what I call the wheel of innovation, because when it starts, the flywheel starts. I refer here to good to great, but when this flywheel starts, honestly, we're seeing, and it's not okay, I need to capex my IT, and it's the mindset change. It's okay, we're investing in R&D, and R&D it's not big amount as well, because we're doing just a second round of innovation. We're going into iteration, so you want to progress. So Jason, maybe
yeah, we've got a few things here that we need to kind of make sure we go over, and I encourage anyone to please put your questions in. And Seb, the first question, I'll kind of moderate through these. The first question for you. All right, I'm sold, I'm buying in, but I want to know more. Seb, how do I reach out to you? How do I get in contact with you?
Yes, so our website, so that's you have our email address here. My personal email address will be shared with you. So after this session, we'll share with you this PowerPoint, this presentation. So you're gonna have our contact info. You can also look up on Creatio. It's creatio.com, it's solutionmetrix.com. So that would be a great way to engage with us. And again, engaging with us, last thing we want to do is on the first calls doing a sales pitch. That's not our approach at all. We're there to ensure you have success. So there's the way we engage with us in Creatio. We're actually going to assess where you are, because most of our prospects, they don't know where to start with this, where I start, what's the impact, how much time I need, how much budget I need. You said it's not really expensive. What does this mean? So we're all about clarifying this, shed some light on your no-code blind spot, and making sure you have a good experience. So that's the best way to engage with us.
So Seb, the next question for you. All right, so I want to learn more. What is let's start with, what is some of the best ways to learn more? And let's go one step further. Is there any events or anything that's coming up that maybe I can attend as a customer that maybe I can learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have multiple events. We're doing one together in May 25th and 25 and 25th and 26th in Chicago. So that's a good event. We'll be there. We're also going to have a lunch and learn. We have two. I think there was one in Montreal or Toronto, not too sure. We're also going to have one, not mistaken, it's in New York State, and I will double check, but we do have events. We do have tons of content as well. On our website, we have a whole knowledge base of best practices and ways and approaches you can take. But yes, pharma is one of our forte here, so we're always creating content weekly on best practices.
Yeah, and you brought up the Chicago event, and I know there's a lot of pharma companies, and I'm sure there's several folks on today's call who are from the Chicago area. It's a free event. It's May 26th and 27th. It's the Thursday and Friday, the last week in May. Both myself and Sebastien will be there. We will be speaking. We will be presenting 2 days. There is no cost to attend the event. You're welcome to come. We've got a great deal worked out with the hotel there. There's more information available at creatio.com. I'm sure Sebastien's team are happy to send you some links and some information about that event as well. But it's really a couple of days to get on site, learn more about low code, no code, learn more about customer experience and CRM, learn more about Sebastien and how his team is really leading the no code charge when it comes to pharmaceuticals. So I guess, Seb, as we look at a couple of other things before we wrap up, we got about 3 minutes left here. I know that you're one of our best partners and one of our biggest partners. What do you think, and I'll give you my take, what do you think's really your key recipe for ensuring, you mentioned your customers aren't the king, it's the customers of your customers are the king. What is it about Solutions Metrix that really sets you apart from other service providers in the industry?
For technical project, we don't have a technical approach. We have a business approach. We understand that in all technology, it's a mean to achieve business objectives. So our duty is to really understand and grasp what are those business objectives, what are the overarching goals that we need to achieve. And then we're actually going to help and support our customer in implementing and embracing the technology to get there. So we begin with the end in mind. So that's what sets us apart. And we have plenty of consulting. We have a thing called Inception, where we're going to go in and assess and then, do the gap of where you want to be, where you are right now, and a roadmap to get there. But definitely Solution Metrix is a business consulting firm that operates in technology and help customer achieve their business goal and making sure they are successful. So we're partner. We're not guy who's going to deliver you technology. We're partner in the implementation and how your company embrace as well the change for regarding the internal organizational change management in order to embrace the technology. So that's I would say that's what our customers say about us. They say, okay, Solution Metrix. They didn't come in and say, okay, what do you need in your platform or in your CRM or in your marketing tool? They really say, okay, what are you trying to achieve here? And then they consult on what are the best practices. They do the gap between where we are and where we're going to be, and then they have a roadmap for us to get there.
I absolutely agree with everything. I agree with everything you just said, and I want to emphasize that. I would encourage everyone to check out both Solutions Metrix and Creatio on all of your favorite social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website solutionsmetrix.com. Go to Creatio website, creatio.com. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. We're all available here. We're here for you. Seb, I appreciate you putting on this webinar today. I appreciate you allowing me to be part of it. Until next time, folks, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much from Creatio and from Solutions Metrix. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.